What up, YouTube? It's your boy.
Continue. Give the intro. Welcome back to Chit Chats, everybody. My name is Antonio.
But a dog.
And let's have a chit chat.
My name's Brennen, by the way.
Yep. In case you did not know, in case you forgot
No,
who
who I
this
am after like 40 episodes.
person is.
Hey, stop pointing at me. You're over there.
You're over there. Yeah.
No, I mean, well, you're actually over there, but I know the point you have to point that way.
That's smart. Yeah, that's very, very good. Very good. Welcome back to Chit Chats. Yeah, I never noticed that I say that twice in every episode. I only recently realized that. What?
Wait, yeah, you
Yeah,
do
because I
actually.
say that at the beginning. I'm like, welcome back to Chit Chats. And then after we give our introductions, I say it again. I say, welcome back to Chit Chats, everybody. Today we're going to talk about whatever. So, redundancy, yay. Yeah, woo, redundancy, woo, yeah. Anyways, guys.
Butter dog.
The butter dog. Dog with the butter.
Dog.
Butter dog. Dog with the butter. You know what that reminds me of, Brendan? It reminds me of a certain other dog in a certain other TV series that recently came out. And that being the dog from Turner and Hooch, whatever it's called, the one with Josh Peck on Disney Plus now. Streaming now on Disney Plus. This is not sponsored. Just kidding. I'm talking about Pizza Dog from the series Hawkeye. In case you haven't seen Hawkeye, it's about Hawkeye. It's about him.
His name is Lucky.
Hanging out with freaking a 20-year-old girl, and that sounds really weird. But that's what happens in the show. Why you gotta
make it weird?
Well, that's what happens in the show. I'm not kidding. That's what happens in the Hawkeye show. It's a good show. I like that show.
By the way, the dog's name is Lucky.
The dog is it? No, it's Pizza Dog. It's silly.
It's Lucky.
Is that the real life name of the dog?
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that.
No, that's the Marvel. That's the comic book. That dog is from the comics. That's Hawkeye's dog in the comics.
So today we're talking about Marvel because we did that in the first episode. We talked about Marvel extensively in that episode. And we have a lot to say. So we're doing another episode right off the bat. 3 episodes later, we're talking about Marvel again. So if you don't like Marvel, this episode is not for you. But that being said, please leave. We don't want you here if you don't want to talk about Marvel. But if you do want to talk about Marvel, welcome to the Marvel Show. That's the new name of this show, I guess. So we're talking about Marvel because last time we talked mostly about like No Way Home and how much hype we had for that movie because we just saw it and just came out. But now there's more Marvel projects that are coming out, as there always is, and we want to talk about them because who doesn't want to talk about them nowadays? I feel like Marvel is talked about by literally everyone. And their moms, in fact, and their dads, and their brothers and sisters, potentially, if they have brothers and sisters. If they're orphans, then they wouldn't be talking about them. Let's talk about
Holy
Marvel.
Shit.
Sorry, I don't know why I just got like a burst of energy, like just all of a sudden. Like, I think Marvel, it just excites me. What can I say?
He just dog shitted on orphans. Jesus Christ.
So, the Moon Knight trailer came out recently. Actually, after we recorded that episode. But when we recorded the episode, the Moon Knight trailer was not out yet. Now it is out, and so we can talk about that now.
Yes.
I just want to clarify. I don't know basically anything about Moon Knight. I read a little bit about him after the trailer came out because I wanted to learn more about where he came from, what his powers were, what his backstory was. So I vaguely understand it now. I understand that he's a guy who has he's schizophrenic, or he has sort of a disorder that makes him hear stuff. You know what I mean?
He has dissociative personality disorder.
Yes.
So
that's a technical
with the spirit of an Egyptian god.
Okay.
The Egyptian moon god.
Gotcha. And that's Moon Knight. Makes sense.
Yes.
Right. So I figured that you'd probably know more about it than I do.
I know some. I've just now started looking. I've known about Moon Knight for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just now really starting to look into his story.
Mm-hmm.
I started looking into him a little bit last year when they first announced that Moon Knight was in the works.
Right. Yeah, I remember hearing that they were doing that show. I didn't know when it was going to come out though. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm so excited for it, dude.
Mm-hmm. It looks really good. The trailer was really good, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It made me really excited to watch the show. The way that it was shot, or the way that the trailer was presented, was really different than Marvel shows I feel like have been.
Yeah.
It was very like it had like a very much like a psychological thriller vibe to it, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think it's going to be a little bit more. I think it's going to be hopefully more like the old Marvel shows, like Daredevil and Punisher, where it might be a little bit more gory than most Marvel stuff that we're used to. Because Moon Knight
hopefully,
is he's a vigilante. He does what's right and doesn't care how it's done.
right. So like
So
he'll kill
mhm.
if necessary. Okay, I didn't
Oh
actually know
yeah,
that. Makes sense though, I guess if you think about it, because the way that they presented him, he seemed like he was like not messing around.
yeah,
um,
no,
but yeah, no, I hope that they do kind of take that direction with this show because I feel like Disney Plus in general kind of tries to play it safe a lot of the time because they're trying to be like family friendly. But I think that like it creates like sort of a roadblock for like create like really creative projects. You know what I mean? And then Brendan muted himself.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
Um, but yeah, no, I'm super excited for Moon Knight because I was a pretty big fan of like Daredevil and stuff like that back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that like I'm hoping that kind of style of show will make a comeback
For
because
sure.
it'll just be a nice little like new different thing than what we're used to, you know.
I've heard a lot of good things about the old Marvel shows, the Netflix ones. Um, specifically, I remember seeing a comment on one of the trailers for a Marvel show. I think it might have been Hawkeye, and it said, "I love the Marvel shows, but nothing will hold a candle to Daredevil." And I was like, "That's impressive."
Daredevil season 1 was probably one of the best like shows in a long time.
Like shows or just or Marvel shows.
Like, dude, it was just a good show in general.
It's just a good show in general. I heard that
Yeah,
like a lot of people liked it, and it was weird. Like I've not seen like any clips from it. Um,
yeah, it was a good show, and Charlie Cox's Daredevil was great, and it was just all around. The way it was directed was amazing. So, if
mhm.
hopefully, if Marvel's going back down that route of how they're doing stuff, especially with like Hawkeye and Moon Knight, I would so be down
I
for
can
that
see
kind
them
of
doing that. I
style.
can see
And
them
there
doing
was some references in that trailer for some stuff that I'm really excited for. So, like the nerd in me, or the biggest one, nerd in me, is we don't know if this is referenced or it's just an Easter egg or if we're just taking it wrong. So one of the biggest Marvel villains that people have been looking for a long time would be Doctor Doom.
I have heard of that.
Doctor Doom's real name is Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom, yeah.
In part of the trailer, when he kind of like wakes up and he's driving a truck and he has a gun in his hand, he like shakes it out of his hand or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can see behind him it says "property of Von D." So people are like, does
Oh
that
shit.
mean property of Von Dune? Like
Probably.
is that like a little reference
I
to
didn't
him or
notice that.
something?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's really cool.
it's like a second. It's like just like right behind the seat. Like you can't even
Mm-hmm.
like it could totally be something else, and we're just like hoping, but it does say Von D, and so we're like Victor Von Doom.
It that could very well be what they're going for, and that'd be pretty cool. I don't know much like I'm like in a weird spot where like I simultaneously know a good amount about Marvel and I think I'm a pretty big fan, and I also don't know a lot. Like I know who Doctor Von Doom is, but I don't know like his full story or like who he was involved with
he
in the
was
comics.
he was involved with a lot of people. What I remember, I think it was a lot with Fantastic Four and some
Mm,
Avengers stuff.
okay.
Um, And we also know that Marvel is working on a Fantastic Four
They are.
movie. It
Mm-hmm.
will supposedly, from what I've heard, Fantastic Four will be the last movie of
Phase
Phase
4.
4. So
Shit. That'll be interesting. Yeah, no,
yeah, I'm super excited.
I went and I looked up like all of the like upcoming Marvel projects that have been announced and I saw that that one was like the last one that is supposed to come out. So,
Yeah,
um,
or at least it's the last Phase 4 movie we know of that's like in the works.
right.
So
Exactly.
people are guessing with how many movies still have to come out with Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, Black Panther 2, Captain Marvels,
The
or
Marvels.
the Marvels, Captain Marvels, the
The
Marvels,
Marvels.
some more shows like season
Ant
2
Man.
of Loki and
Ant Man
yeah, and the
Quantumania.
Ant Man Wasp Quantumania. That I have a feeling that Fantastic Four will probably be like the last movie of Phase 4.
Probably because they're gonna like basically, well, not reinvent, but like reboot that franchise. So like it's gonna be a pretty big deal because we're gonna get to see like Marvel's take on it because we haven't even seen like the cast listing for that movie yet.
No,
So,
and the other ones were made by Sony and Fox.
right.
So,
And those were not good, from my understanding.
no, they
Well,
were
specifically
the original
one,
ones with
yeah,
the one by Fox was terrible.
yeah. I've
The
heard that one
the
was
one with
so
Michael
bad.
B. Jordan and their attempt at doing Victor Von Doom was. Ooh.
Not
And then
good.
the ones by Sony weren't much better, but they were tolerable
Okay, didn't
compared
I
to
have a
what.
Chris Evans?
Yeah, it's Human Torch.
Yeah,
There's
I've heard of
there's
that.
there's been a lot of theories about stuff coming with
Hey,
him.
not yet. We're gonna get to that.
I know.
There's an order to these things, Brennan. You may not
I
like
know. I'm
it.
trying to follow the order. I'm trying to follow the
Thank
order.
you, thank you. Sorry, I talked to Brennan about what I wanted to talk about in this episode because I'm a control freak, and so I have a specific order that I want to progress in these, and we are deviating from that, which isn't bad. But that being said, I do want to transition because it's going to build. You know what I mean? It's like we're building up to the main, the meat. You know what I mean? When you're having a 3-course meal, you don't go straight to the main course. You have to have appetizers first. You know what I mean? I'm getting hungry. Okay, so let's talk about shows, TV shows in general,
Those.
Marvel shows specifically, because we were talking about Moon Knight. That's obviously coming out in March, I believe. But the show that just came out, Hawkeye, was a pretty big deal because it brought back a villain that a lot of people remember and have
Oh man.
fond memories of. Kingpin, but I don't remember. I was about to say his actor's name, but I don't remember. It's Vincent something, right?
The actor's name?
The actor that played
I don't remember
Kingpin.
his name.
I think it's Vincent Vincent
Yeah, something like
DiMaggio,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
Good old Wilson Fisk.
Vincent D'Onofrio,
Denario.
D'Onofrio, Vincent. So he was Kingpin. And that was a big deal because it kind of indirectly confirmed, well, more directly indirect. It confirmed that the Netflix shows take place in the same universe as the movies, as the MCU canon movies, which I don't think we've had that confirmation before.
So kind of. Small. So I watched the first seasons of Daredevil back when it came out.
Right.
And the closest thing we had the confirmation that it was in the same kind of universe was that there was a newspaper writer who was looking through old newspaper articles, and he pulled out one that he had framed, and it was about the Battle of New York.
Oh, okay.
So,
but see, that could have been simply just an Easter egg. Like at the time, they were just trying to like make like a loose connection. But this is like more like concrete. Well, you could argue that that's concrete too. But like the fact that they brought back the same actor, that's a pretty big deal. And then they did this. What? I was just gonna say they did that with Charlie Cox in No Way Home. So it further connects that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so I'm glad that Kevin Feige is luckily compared to another movie studio, Brothers. Kevin Feige and Marvel are really good about listening to what they know fans like and what they want.
Yes.
And so they knew that if they wanted to somehow bring back Kingpin, but not only Daredevil, that they could not bring back anyone else but
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent and Charlie Cox.
Because everyone loves them in those roles, right?
Everyone loved, and honestly, there's not anyone else that would be more perfect for Wilson Fisk than Vincent. And then Charlie Cox just puts a lot of love into that character, and
for sure,
I'll never forget Kevin Feige when they announced that a new Daredevil project is in the works for the future.
Mm-hmm.
They were all talking about it, and he was saying something, and he was saying all his information about stuff that they're working for it. And then the last thing he said was literally like, "Now, before you all go on Twitter attacking me, I am to confirm that Charlie Cox will be returning as Daredevil, so no need to raise a fuss.
That's good. See, he knows what's up.
And
He knows what's up.
and even Charlie Cox himself a while back was like asked like, were you asked about returning as Daredevil? And he's like, I haven't heard anything yet, but if they try to do one without me, I'll go down there myself and steal the costume.
So I'm glad that he's into the role too. So
yeah, and then there's like I said, there's just honestly no one else better to play Fisk than Vincent. So
I think he was a really he really embodies that character. You know,
he does such he reminds the way he embodies that character and the way he acts reminds me. I don't know if you've seen it or if whoever watches it has seen it, but he reminds me a lot of the Wilson Fisk from the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Oh, I have not seen that.
Oh, dude, he reminds me so much of that.
I thought you were going to say
Wilson
the
Fisk.
Spider-Verse movie.
No,
but not so much. But I know I didn't actually even know that he was in that game. But that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
he's
kind of like the first kind of like filler villain.
Right. Okay. That's cool though.
But he reminds me so much of that Wilson Fisk, and it's so good. And that outfit he wore in the last episode that he was in with the Hawaii shirt and like the white, that was straight out of the comic books. Like he wore that in the comic books, and Vincent was the one who actually recommended it.
Oh, really?
It was confirmed that he was almost going to wear a different outfit, but Vincent's like, "Can we wear this one?" And they're like, "Yeah, I guess so."
Oh, that's awesome. So he I love that the actors like appreciate the characters so much that they know what to sort of do with the characters sometimes. You know what I mean? Like they contribute their own ideas. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
It shows how much Marvel has like a good reputation with their actors, except for some exceptions. Scarlett Johansson. Anyway, go on. That was more Disney, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, because Marvel actually sided with her on that whole whole situation.
So that joke didn't really make sense. But what?
But I just never forget is that like a lot of people were excited about it, but like when in No Way Home and spoilers in case you somehow haven't seen or heard, of course with Toby and Andrew returning, people were losing their shit in those scenes when they came back. And but dude, I was so excited when we saw that shot and we saw that cane come down, and I was like, it's fucking Daredevil. He's back.
Yeah.
He's in New York.
And that was a rumor. That was a big rumor leading up until the movie as well. Well, you know, smaller in comparison to the Andrew and Toby, but still.
Yeah, and then just like the whole manages to catch the rock before Spider-Man even does.
Yeah, just
like, how did you do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
I'm a really good lawyer. That was so good. That was so good. Like that was one of the moments where the crowd cheered in the theater I was in.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, and I
had a pretty quiet theater. Mine only really cheered mostly during Andrew and Toby's appearance, and then during
when they were fighting
when Goblin first showed up on the bridge, and then in that end when he comes flying down and he's like, "Can Spider-Man come out to play?" That's like the only times my theater really got loud at all. But I had a pretty quiet theater other than that.
Right. That happens. It happens. You know, obviously, as time goes on, the hype is going to kind of die down a little bit. I don't know when exactly you saw it, but yeah, it's different. Because for me, like, I didn't know necessarily everything about like Daredevil, but I still knew like that was Daredevil and what they were doing. So I was still like, kind of excited about that. I thought that was really cool.
For those of us who really wanted him back, we were like, "This is it. We're getting him back."
Yeah, but
like, he comes back to us.
But then you know that there was like that group of people that never knew Daredevil. That was just like, who is this
people
guy?
Who was literally like asking like, "Who is that?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "How the fuck do you not know?"
I mean,
like,
I can't.
Even if you didn't watch the show, like I feel like he would hopefully have enough at least Marvel knowledge to know about the blind lawyer. There's a really funny Easter egg in Spider-Man PS4 where you can actually find Daredevil's lawyer, his office.
Oh, really?
Game.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you can find a card for his lawyer business, and he goes, "Hey, that blind guy gave me this card, and in case he said Spider-Man ever needs a lawyer." And then he goes, "Wait," and then he was like, "Wait, how do you know I was Spider-Man? He's blind."
What? Oh, God,
So that was a cool little reference.
that is cool. But with Kingpin and Daredevil coming back in and like kind of being confirmed to exist in the MCU, it begs the question: what are they going to do with that knowledge? Like, are they going to bring more old characters into the MCU? Are they going to do more callbacks?
The only honestly, and like some people might fight me on this, but the only character I would be interested in them bringing back, Iron Fist wasn't the best for me, and they could have done a lot better with that. Jessica Jones was pretty cool, but I never really got into it. But I would love to see Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Come
I've
back.
heard of all of those shows. I don't necessarily know what any of them are about. But
Iron Fist is a guy who learned like crazy martial arts, and like he can like he's really good at fighting, and then but like he has like the ability to like supercharge his fist into like a super kind of like crazy explosion. Jessica Jones just has like some powers. I can't remember what her powers are, but she has like super strength, can jump really high.
She has girl power. No.
Luke Cage was tested on in a facility and became his skin became like indestructible. And stuff like that, and there are some great moments in Luke Cage. I like I said, if anyone wants to come back, if they're gonna like maybe start bringing back or confirming that
they could
the Marvel shows were canon, I would love to see Luke Cage come back.
I mean, I feel like Daredevil was probably like the most popular one, like that they obviously had.
Daredevil was the most popular one for sure,
but they very well could, and you know where they could possibly introduce those characters
in our next topic,
which I just realized is that was not a good transition, Brennan, because we're talking about characters that already exist in the MCU, in the main universe, and now we're talking about the multiverse, so it doesn't actually make sense that they would be part of the multiverse because they're already in the main universe, so it doesn't even make sense. That transition didn't even make sense. So Doctor Strange
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness. The trailer is already out. There's a lot of hype.
The end credit scene for No Way Home.
With the end credit scene for No Way Home, and the hype is building up because there's a lot of rumors that have been coming out about who is going to be in this movie because it's a multiverse movie, which means that they could do some crazy shit, like crazier than freaking No Way Home. You know what I mean? So, and it was confirmed that they did a lot of reshoots, like even after the trailer came out, they were still filming shit. So, like, they could have thrown in a million cameos for just random stuff, and that just might happen.
One of the things that just recently got talked about that I'd be super excited for is there's the Marvel, there's the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
And there's the X-Men, like, young movies, like X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, X-Men First Class, that has, I can't remember his name, but the guy who plays young Charles Xavier. I can't remember his name. But he played, like, young Charles Xavier.
Okay.
And he has been spotted in LA again, but not only was he spotted in LA again, it's like, oh, whatever, he's an actor.
Yeah.
He shaved his head.
And that
you know Charles Xavier is bald.
Oh.
And so people are like,
oh, you're talking about Dr. X, or what is his name?
Professor X.
Professor X, that's what I mean. Yeah. Are you talking about Young? Are you talking about wasn't he played by Patrick Stewart?
No, Young. Patrick Stewart is not young.
Well, I know, but I don't know who.
In the original X-Men movies, he was played by Patrick Stewart, but in all the newer ones, like Days of Future, he played that movie. He played in remember Split? Did you ever see Split? Nope. Or Mr. Glass?
Nope.
I hate you.
I don't watch movies, Brennan. I watch the big mainstream Marvel movies because I'm a normie. I'm a normie Marvel fan. Woo-wah. But I don't watch anything else because I'm stupid. I'm so dumb. So sorry about that.
What's his name? Show me the cast.
I've heard of Split. Wait, why does that sound so familiar? I feel like you've talked about that.
James McCoy.
James McCoy.
McCavery.
James Marsden from Sonic the Hedgehog.
This
James Maslow from Big Time Rush. What? I'm not aware. I'm not I'm not aware of that actor.
Oh my
I
gosh.
apologize. I severely am sorry. But
You
so he's coming back.
you
Oh, so he shaved his head. Oh,
hopefully
oh,
like I
maybe.
said, he was spotted in LA and he had a shaved head, so hopefully that made me like an Professor X
That's a pretty
character.
good indication that he's probably going to be that character in the movie.
I would love that. And then like another character too from those movies, the actor who played Jean Grey, she was spotted in LA again with her hair dyed red.
Okay.
And like her hair was red for the movies. She dyed her hair red for the movies because that's what Jean Grey's hair color was. So we were like, well, maybe she's gonna make a cameo too.
Maybe. Or maybe she just felt like dyeing her hair. You know?
Biggest one, what if Deadpool cameos?
Thank you. Now you're talking. Now you're speaking my
Oh,
language.
all right.
I
Yeah,
love.
let me get all the mainstream Marvel movies and just throw all these other actors to the side. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
who gives a crap about them? Let's talk about Deadpool. Okay? Because I did see the Deadpool movies, both of them. I love Ryan Reynolds. He's a great man. And yeah, I've heard rumors that he might make like a small cameo, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe a bigger cameo, but
All of these might be just like small cameos.
they might be. But you know that people are
Just
gonna.
like,
It's gonna just be cheer fest after cheer fest if they do
oh yeah.
a lot of them. I mean, maybe for others it might be bigger than others, but
Well, so as a nerd,
as a nerd,
one of the ones I'm super excited for is that this got rumored like back when Multiverse of Madness first came out.
you
And
mean
it
when the
was
trailer came
Toby
out? Because it's
no,
not out
back
yet.
when back when it was confirmed the movie was being made.
Oh, okay,
So this was like a little while ago.
a while ago, yeah.
There was confirmed, and then now it's not as much. Now it's after No Way Home with Tobey Maguire returning. It's not as far fetched. There was a rumor back when the script was first announced that the movie was now in the makes. There was a rumor that Tobey Maguire would be returning as Spider-Man for the movie, but not as the Tobey Maguire we knew. I mean, not as the Peter Parker we knew. He'd be returning. He'd be returning as what's known as the Last Stand Spider-Man, and it's where Spider-Man gave up being like he's still a hero. He's a vigilante where he wants to do hero business, but now he's doing it all the wrong way.
Okay.
And so he was a lot more of a strict, brutal Spider-Man than he is like the friendly neighborhood, don't kill kind of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I've heard rumors that he might come back for this movie because Sam Raimi is directing it.
Sam Raimi is directing this movie.
And I heard that they were more or less going to like I don't know if this is what you mean, but basically like because originally they were going to make more like Spider-Man movies with like the Sam Raimi canon, whatever. Yeah. So they were basically what I heard is that they're basically going to like set up like, oh, this is what would have happened if they made that movie. Like they would have like referenced that. Like that sort of makes sense.
I can see them doing that too.
And the fact, like you said, the fact that Tobey Maguire was in No Way Home, excuse me, does kind of, help that theory.
Toby and Andrew were in that movie over the like nothing seems not possible anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally, they could do whatever the frick they want. They can make Amazing Spider-Man 3. They can make Amazing Spider-Man 3. They can make regular Spider-Man 4.
I want them to make Amazing Spider-Man 3 so bad.
Okay, but they have to do it like better than they did the other ones. I mean, I haven't seen them, so I don't know how good or bad they really are. But from what I hear,
they weren't the best.
They weren't the best. They weren't as good as they could be.
I want Andrew to get another chance because I want people to realize that Andrew's a good Spider-Man, just but Sony's bad at writing.
I think. I mean, I agree, but I think No Way Home definitely like put him in the public eye. You know what I mean? Because he really like stood out in that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He killed in that movie, and I think that if anything, it showed people like fans and Marvel themselves that he is worth using if he's willing to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
I definitely. It would be really weird. It would be really weird, like for me at least. It'd be weird the idea of them making a third installment of a franchise that they have long since kind of just scrapped, just because that doesn't usually. Well, that happens, but not with like Marvel movies. Yeah. You agree? I'm glad you agree. But yeah, no, I mean they could do some Spider-Man shenanigans. and that would be really interesting.
I would totally be into it. And then, of course, one of the biggest ones that people have been talking about is maybe Hugh Jackman cameo as Wolverine.
That is possible.
That's been the talks for a while. A cameo from the original X-Men, so like Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, we brought it back around. See, I didn't bring him up. Just saying,
and stuff like that. The biggest thing I hope for is that we get our first look or confirmation of mutants in this movie. So Marvel can start working on an X now, because now Marvel owns X-Men again.
Right.
So I want them to be able to introduce X-Men or at least mutants in a real way for the first time.
They could.
The biggest thing I want them to introduce is the Fantastic Four.
Which they might like hint at the Fantastic Four in this movie, but I also am a little hesitant to think that they would do that because they're working on the movie. If they weren't already confirmed to be working on that movie, I would think that it was more likely. But also, you could make the argument that it's more likely because they're working on the movie because they want to they want people to remember who the Fantastic Four are, so they could set them up to be in that movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
you could be right.
No, for sure.
So, but that would be really interesting because they could like bring back like old Fantastic Four actors. They could bring back.
You could bring back Chris Evans, and then be like Captain America, and then he'd be like, "Who the hell's Captain America?" And then
he shoots a fireball. Or something.
He'd get like scared and be like,
"Yeah, exactly." I've seen like rumors that like are like theories that like he could do that, and that I was like, "Oh, that'd be so awesome." They could do They could do like I was hearing that they were like doing like a Tom Cruise as Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
So like he comes out.
People are just saying that mainly because I mean, like if it happens, that'd be cool.
That'd be interesting.
People are mainly just saying that because Tom Cruise was one of the people that was originally looked at to play Iron Man.
I mean, they could very well do that and like just as like a little like hit, like sort of nod at fans, like, oh yeah,
I think it would still be cool.
It would be cool. It would be interesting.
But that's where that rumor originated from.
They could have like the Iron Man suit fly out, and then people are like, Iron Man's back, and then it's just Tom Cruise,
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that'd be something. I even heard rumors that they were going to bring back Robert Downey Jr. like as like an alternate version of him. That. I don't think that that's going to happen, but I've literally heard so much random shit about this movie, dude. Deadpool. I saw a comment. I wanted to bring this up because I just think it's funny. Well, I just want to bring it up. It's really quick.
Not you.
Oh, you're talking to your dog.
Yeah, she's being weird.
She wants to be a Multiverse of Madness. Your dog is going to be a Multiverse of Madness. She's going to come out of the portal and be like, woof. So basically, someone thought like the idea of like the whole movie plays out. There's no sign of Deadpool, but then in the end credits, he just pops out of a portal, is like, "What's up?" And then the movie ends, and that's it. It's just so vague. It's so vague and like
one of my favorite things have always been is that if Daredevil was to join the Marvel movies, I'm hoping that they're smart enough and realize that they cannot do a Deadpool movie without keeping it rated R.
They already confirmed that it will be rated the Deadpool 3. Because they are working on Deadpool 3, and it will be rated.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
One of my favorite things, though, is I really want him to be in like another Marvel movie. Because when a movie's PG-13, they use one fuck word.
Yeah,
one curse word.
One fuck word.
One fuck word.
Yeah,
and I really want because he breaks the fourth wall, so I really want him to be in like a movie and like try not to cuss throughout the entire thing, and every time he almost does, he just be like, nope. I only get the one. We got to
only get the one.
13 rating.
Yeah, that would be funny. That would be really funny. But I think that they are going to make it rated R, though.
And then his movie will be rated R. But I mean, like if he was like in someone else's movie.
I see what you're saying.
And then what we were talking about, like it'd be great is that like throughout the entire movie he like tries to do it, and then he just goes like, he's like, nope, can't use it yet, and then he goes through the entire movie not doing it, and then in the end he's like. The like credits start hearing like the credits roll and he stops the credit. He goes, "Wait, I didn't get to say my slur word." And then he just like the credits keep trying to come, and he's like,
Yeah.
you motherfucker.
That would be so good if that happened. Oh my god, I would love that, and I could totally see that because obviously, if they did when they do Deadpool 3, it's going to be rated R. But if they did, because they basically said that they're working on an MCU Deadpool, right?
Go see mom.
If they did do that, they probably would like play into the fact like, oh yeah, most Marvel movies are not rated R, so they can't say the F word, or they can only say it once. So they definitely would like lean into that and like make fun of that with Deadpool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So that would be really funny. They could, dude. They could literally do anything.
There's one thing coming up that I don't think they'll reference in Multiverse of Madness, but it's a future project that I'm really excited for.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working. I know that Marvel is in the talks and working on a new Ghost Rider.
I have heard about that. Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that they'll listen to fans and listen to him and cast Norman Reedus as Johnny Blaze. To play Ghost Rider. Or one of my favorites was him as Johnny Blaze or Keanu Reeves as Carter Slade.
Okay. Dude, Keanu Reeves in the MCU. That'd be something.
But dude, Keanu Reeves could totally pull off a Carter Slade. Carter Slade's like an old Western style kind of Ghost Rider.
Thank you. I was about to say, like, I wish I could relate more to what you're talking about.
You know who Ghost Rider is, right?
I do know who Ghost Rider is.
Like the flaming skull, like the flaming motorcycle, the whole thing like that. Mm-hmm. Carter Slade is like he wears like a cowboy hat. His horse turns into like an undead horse with like flaming eyes and shit like that.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, then I agree that would be really that'd be cool if they brought him back. I keep forgetting that that's a Marvel property, honestly.
Oh, Ghost Rider?
Yeah. Just because I remember hearing about that movie when it came out like 10 years ago, and or like the most recent one. I know that there's been multiple iterations, but
there's only been
2.
There's only been there was one
with Liam Neeson, right? That's the one that I know.
Liam Neeson?
I'm pretty sure it was Liam Neeson.
I don't think there was a Ghost Rider movie with Liam Neeson.
Hold on, Ghost Rider. I think it was like the 2007 one. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Look. Oh no, not Liam Neeson. I'm stupid. It's Nicolas Cage. I don't know why
what the fuck?
I don't know why I got those two mixed up. What the hell? I don't. Okay, anyway, Nicolas Cage. So
I was like the only other Ghost Rider we've had since Ghost Rider and then Ghost Rider 2 Spirit of Vengeance is what's his name? I can't remember the actor's name, but we got Robbie the Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
That's the only other form of Ghost Rider we've gotten since the movies with Nicolas Cage.
I see. Okay. Yeah, no,
other than like in movies, other than like games and shit.
I should just stop trying to relate to this because I don't know.
I was like, Liam Neeson, what the fuck?
Yeah, you don't remember that? You don't remember? Dude.
No, dude.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm like a Marvel expert, so I think I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Deadpool. Anyway, so I think we've talked a good amount about future Marvel projects. I think we might want to wrap it up now. Unless you have any final thoughts. I don't really...
no, I'm pretty thoughted out.
Final thought is Multiverse of Madness is going to to be awesome. It's going to be crazy.
Multiverse of Madness is going to be amazing.
It's going to be so crazy and weird, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the ride, so can't wait for that. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here, Brennan, as always.
Yes.
Thank you to your dog, Emma, for joining us unofficially.
No way.
She's going to end up being the third host of the show.
Want to be a third host? Come here.
She just leaves. She's like, fuck you.
Get your bone. Come here.
Oh, here she comes.
Come here. Get your bone.
She's like, no. She's like, screw you.
I can get her bark. Or not.
Or not. Okay, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Chit Chats. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chit Chat dance. Sorry, Donovan, I'm doing it
Nope.
without you. Ha 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 ha. Brennan, say something funny for that outro.